Hey, we're back for another season of When Marriage and Purpose Collide.
We're here to inspire and encourage Christian singles who are striving to date with a desire and purpose for marriage.
We will provide you with thought-provoking hot topics that not only challenge your thinking, but can encourage you in your single season.
We speak about topics like this all the time. We're just taking you along for the ride.
So sit back and join us. On to the episode.
What up?
What up, what up, what up? We back for another episode. Hey, we back for another episode.
Might be too fast for the new music that we got.
It don't matter.
Okay.
We just gonna do it. Hey, welcome back to another episode of When Marriage
And Purpose
Collide, the podcast. And we're back, y'all.
I feel like we missed something on that, but
we did miss something. I feel like we missed something, but it's okay. We are back for season 4. And we got this is our first guest of the season, y'all. Guest. Sis. That's what the
I pointed at you.
Guest of the season.
Okay.
And we're so excited because this topic, y'all, it's real. I didn't know how many of y'all was out there. No, I didn't know.
That's because we don't go outside.
Oh, that's what I say. We don't go out much.
That's how you don't know.
But if y'all saw the topic when y'all clicked on this episode, y'all already know what we're talking about. We are talking about dating as an introvert.
Yep.
I have nothing on this topic at all,
Yeah,
but dating one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But dating one, I am not one. But yeah, so listen, so that's the topic for today. But you know that actually, you know what? Let's introduce the guest first. I usually do it the other way around. Let's just go ahead and introduce who we got here today.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So today we have some guests on here that I invite. I'll share a little bit more later of how we got to invite these beautiful people on that are here today. But I want them to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about themselves and maybe what they do, or you don't have to share much. Just give a brief intro for the audience and let them know who you are. Josh, go ahead and go first.
My name is Joshua Haley. I am DJ's cousin.
Hey.
I am actually very terrible at this introduce yourself stuff. So I'm a truck driver. I'm 34 years old and getting ready to be 35 in October.
That's what's up. 30 big 35.
And crossover. You be okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Feel older every day.
Yep.
That's what's up. Thanks. All right.
That thing sounds something else.
Oh, great.
My name is Tae'Lor Landa, and I am a school counselor at a middle school. I'm not going to say which one. I've been in the school counseling field for this is my 3rd year, but I've been in education for about 7. It was really hard for me to say anything because I'm really that shy. I didn't know what to say.
Y'all hilarious. I love this. Y'all are in y'all moment.
I feel like
y'all trying. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, little shyness there. I also do have my own podcast. We talked about grief as a whole because I lost my mother about 4 years ago. So
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's really. I listen to the podcast. What's the full name though, Tae'Lor? Give us the full name of the podcast.
So the name of the podcast is called The Grief Journal, the unwritten pages of my grief journey. So you can find it on. I hate coming on people's podcasts to like plug my own, but
no, I like it. Actually, it sounds cool.
If you don't, because I listened to some episodes and I'm over here like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like it's just all the different types of grief. And then you did share some stories about, about your mother and the memories and all that. So it was really touching. I really liked listening to it. And you forgot a whole big thing that happened this past summer with you winning something.
Yeah. So this is the Grief Journal is also the 2023 Kansas City's People's Choice Award winner for Best Podcast.
Yeah.
Nice.
So y'all go check it out. It out for real.
Okay.
It's really awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. So thank y'all for introducing. So we're going to start off with a segment called This Is Your Confessions. Well, it's not called, it's actually called Confessions. I just add
Yeah, she likes that.
I just like saying
Good old rush.
So, do you have a confession today?
Yeah.
Did you think of it? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going.
You go first.
Styrofoam. That's
What?
my confession. I can't do it. Every time we open up packages, it just it messes with my ears. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Why you think on Christmas I already opened the package up beforehand and then wrap it?
I have,
because I don't want to go through all that.
I've known you for 9 years.
I was about to say, you better count 'em.
I was like, I didn't ever know that you was.
Yep, styrofoam couldn't do it. Remember last Christmas I had all their toys already out.
You did.
Because
so,
I can't do it.
So no styrofoam.
No styrofoam.
For you.
Kind of spoiled the surprise a little bit. Okay, I like it.
Right.
No, it's still a surprise. They just have to open it up. Don't have to worry about the box.
Okay.
Well, thanks, babe, for sharing that. I had not known. It's very random, but it's a great confession. That's what we're here for.
Informational.
Yes. Mine is that okay, so I just love being comfortable. That's my thing. And so I am beginning to be a flats queen. Meaning I don't you're like, what?
A what?
I don't like wearing heels no more.
Oh.
I really don't like wearing heels anymore. Like I will put them on for 5 seconds wherever I am, and then a pair of flats are in my purse, and I will take those joints out and I will wear those because
I thought that was normal.
No, it's like, but I don't keep them on for long. Like I don't even want them on. Yeah. Like my feeling about them have changed, and some people are like, "Well, I'm a heels person." No, I would be so comfortable if all my life I could just wear heels. I mean, no heels. Sorry, I could just wear no heels. If I could just wear flat, different color flats, different types of flats, different patterns, but just that. And then and then boots with flats. Oh, those are awesome, especially fall's coming. So,
Super Saiyan boots is about to be in style.
And then of course, you're not supposed to like kitten heels, or like they downing on kitten heels. Like I love kitten heels. Like that was the best thing ever.
What's a kitten heel?
It's like a small little heel on.
I was just gonna say that. Listen.
It's a small little heel so it was basically heelish.
Oh, okay.
And so, but it fit, and they're like, you shouldn't wear those anymore. I don't care, but I like those.
I mean,
so
it's like a wedge or something.
That's what I was thinking.
No, it's
a heel, but short.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Remember, the wedge is basically like a wedge.
Oh, I love wedges. I actually like wedges, but it's still a heel to me, so I can't wear them long. So
okay.
So that's my confession. All right. Anybody want to go first with their confession?
Miss Taylor, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
All right.
So I would say that my confession is that I'm low-key a Saints fan, while also being a Kansas City fan at the same time. And yes, it still works because they're in 2 completely different conferences. So that is my confession. Yeah, I love the Saints. My dream Super Bowl would be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Saints, like competing against each other.
Really?
Obviously, I would root for the home team, but it's Kansas City. But that's something about the Saints. I just like them.
Wow. Okay then. Well, I mean,
understandable.
Yeah, it's understandable. I'm here, so I feel like I just, hey Chiefs, yay! But I'm not a Chiefs fan per se.
49ers.
Yeah, so I'm with the 49ers. So yeah, it's okay, Taylor. It's all right.
The way she looked at you. Oh my God.
Me.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Anyway, but no, we'll get into that later. Josh.
My confession is I'm a bit obsessive in terms of I can't just fail and let it go. Like whatever it is, I have to keep going and going and going. And it can be quite annoying to people. Something small, like I remember dropping a bolt inside of an air conditioner. And I went into the air conditioner to try to fish it out. And people were like, dude, just go buy another bolt. And I'm like, yeah, but I kind of want that one. So it's like in a confession / obsession. So I'm working on it, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
I mean,
I don't know. I do the same thing. I drop a bolt in that engine. I'm going for it.
There you go.
But it's like, I don't know what it is.
I found my people. He's my family.
I don't know what it is. Like sometimes I even question myself about it. Like, why are you like this? But
Well,
I've just
because
learned to
it's a
embrace it
whole
now.
thing. Because if you lose the boat, then now you got to go to the store and try to find the exact same boat that you just lost. You know how difficult that is? Because a lot of times you got to go ask for help.
Yeah, y'all don't like doing that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. Then spend extra money, even though if it's cheap. Like,
oh, it ain't cheap.
Still, I gotta go. Yeah,
$5 for one boat.
it's not. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
No.
Well, thank you for y'all for sharing the confession. Y'all gonna keep going because y'all that's how y'all do all day. On the phone back and forth. I gotta cut y'all off.
It would have been a whole different topic.
I'd be like, how long have you been talking to Josh for 3 hours?
3, 4.
3 hours. Okay, so anyway, thank y'all so much for answering the confession. So we have 2 questions that we like to ask our guest when they come on our podcast. Go ahead and hit them with the first question.
All right. What compelled you to join this conversation and on this platform? Why you put on the platform? Just join this conversation. There you go.
Making your own, babe.
Thanks.
Ladies first.
So I found out about this conversation. One of my sorority sisters, she had commented on a post that you had made, Lucretia, like when they were asking for when you were asking for guest speakers, and I feel like I think that she declined it. She did, yeah. And then I was like, I mean, I'll do it because I feel like that it's such a dating as an introvert is such a thing because a lot of it comes with having to take initiative to leave the house. And also being, I don't know if I want to say being open to conversation, but somewhat of the ability to carry on the conversation. And I think it's a perspective that no one really talks about. People are always just like, oh, you just got to get out there and blah, 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 coming from the extroverted side of it, but no one really steps into the introverted side. And from our point of view, and allows people to understand like why some of those things might be a little harder for us. So
it's needed. Definitely needed. I won't talk anymore because Josh's turn, but thank you for that.
I was gonna let you do your thing. I joined it because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about introverts. So I feel like maybe I can clear some things up. Like, obviously I can't speak for everyone, but I can kind of give some sort of insight into what it is that we think about when we go out or date or whatever. So just feel like this would be a great place to share that and also meet, someone new or meet other people.
I think that this is stepping outside of the comfort zone that you might not be able to do often. So I really appreciate that because we're having this conversation, but then having y'all on, I'm sure it was like I gotta be on,
So I can't believe I say yes to this.
Because we're talking about the topic, but you are who you are. And so I think there are misconceptions. And I think it needs to be talked about. And we'll share later about our experience with DJ being an introvert and how I was able to handle that, what that looks like dating and even in marriage. Like you can feel free to ask questions too as we go on if I forget to be like, how y'all handling now? How did any changes, any difference? But yeah, appreciate that. Okay, next question.
What are your thoughts surrounding the current state of singles and dating nowadays?
Josh, go ahead. You've been putting Tae'Lor on the spot.
A lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts rush to his mind. He got to pick which one.
Right. You can be brief too. But I know you about to go ahead and have a whole essay.
Oh yeah, we're going.
I'm not trying to sound like that guy, but it's not the greatest. It's difficult also being an introvert, so that kind of doubles it down because even though people say you're shy, you don't want to talk to people. Sometimes it's not necessarily you're shy. It's just we don't like small talk. So if you go into a room with a bunch of people, like say for instance, we go to a party together, I'm not going to want to talk to everybody. That's small talk. I have to small talk a whole bunch of different people at the same time. And my social battery is not that high anyway. So I'll probably shut down mid-conversation and not engage anymore, be ready to go home. So that's kind of a lot of people expect you to be very talkative during dates or whatever. And I get that this is the filling out stage, but I'd rather it be an intimate gathering with just us two so I can ask the deeper questions. But at the same time, some people don't like deeper questions on the first date. So it's
the toss up.
Yeah.
So you think that all around with dating nowadays, period, though, that's kind of like a common theme also with you and others that may be struggling in that area?
Yeah. No, it seems like asking the deeper questions that would help you figure out what type of person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
No one wants to answer those on the first date. Like, I'm the type that'll ask you, you know, what was your childhood like?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not a first date question, or, you know.
You've been dating for a while now, but you still feel a little uneasy about how you've both been communicating. Sometimes it feels off and you both aren't on the same page. It's hard to be consistent. You find it difficult to bring up hard and awkward conversations, and you feel like there hasn't been any true resolution to your conflict. So listen, I've been there. It's not that you aren't communicating. More than likely, it's the way you are communicating. Before DJ and I were married, we were told to communicate as a piece of advice. But how? So we developed a check-in system that helped us be vulnerable, open up, and build intimacy before marriage. Our new check-in cheat sheet, The Communication Game Changer, is available now at www.lucretiahaley.com. That's www.lucretia.
Oh, are you having a good relationship with your parents?
Yeah.
Not, you know what I mean? Like, those are not, because I need to fill out how you are as a person so I can gain some interest, but obviously those aren't, you know.
And it depends, honestly, on their motives and what they are looking for long term. Because it sounds like from the both of you, you both are looking for long term. And so you're asking questions to make sure that this is going to be some longevity, you know? And so they're like, but hold up, we just the first date kind of did what you bringing on. But you're like, you're trying to feel somebody out to make sure you want to be on the second date and a third date, you know, kind of deal. And that's not necessarily, and we'll talk about it later. I don't want to get too deep right now. But yes, I understand that, because I believe there are some early dating questions that you should ask, but then there's also some questions that those questions are not too bad about childhood. Ma'am, sir, like
they don't want to be there for no childhood questions. They're there for your food.
They're there for your food. So yeah, so that could be it. That I think there's even misconceptions about what are great questions to ask, because to me those are great questions to actually good conversation starters to get to know somebody. But thank you, Josh, for sharing. All right, Tae'Lor, what you got? Current state of dating nowadays. What's your thoughts?
Okay, I would say that it is rough out here. But I would say it's for the simple fact that they're not stating their intentions up front. And or people are just in the season of healing. And then some people are still they're acting, how do I want to say it? They're going into dating as a result of loneliness without really dealing with some of their past issues. And so they're bleeding on other people, I would say.
Ooh, come on.
Or yes, so we're not. They're thinking in their mind. They may be thinking that they're ready for a commitment or for a relationship, but they're still healing. And this is like a testament to myself. I'm not this is anybody else. This is me, because I had to go through a whole water me boot camp in order to get to a better mind state that I am now. So we can touch later.
Yeah, I would love. Yes, we're gonna have to hit on that for sure, because that is crucial. You said bleed on other people, and that's basically what happens. Go ahead.
No, I said that was a good one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's basically what happens. You know, you have not healed. You have, went through like a major surgery, and you just got right back up and just out of life, right?
Even change clothes. You still in that gown, booty out.
Yeah.
You're running away. You didn't even heal. The doctor said stay in, and you out there just doing it. So no, that's key. So I appreciate that. So what I wanted to say also that I've been doing on my end. So all of you know that I am a purpose and relationship coach. And most recently I have started doing dating strategy coaching, basically dating with strategy and clarity, dating with confidence and clarity strategy sessions. And I've been having some beautiful ladies on my end who come in and really are like, what do I do nowadays? How do I approach dating? And Tae'Lor was actually one of the first folks that I had on when I started my sessions. And so Tae'Lor, if you could give the audience just a little bit of what you grasped from our conversation, how it then helped you in your dating season and dating life, just so others can be like, you know what, I think that might be something I need to start doing.
Mm-hmm. So I think if I remember correctly, because I felt a lot has happened since.
Yeah, it was like a month and a half sometime. Yeah, sometime. Yep.
Yeah, a lot has happened in a month and a half.
Girl, you got to update me later, but go ahead.
Yes. I think at that point in my life, I experienced like a series or like a pretty big rejection in the dating field. And usually when I experience that, I always just cry out for some help. Like, help me. I don't know what to do. And so landed in Lucretia's inbox. So we had the coaching session. And then one of the things that I had told her was that I was one that does like the initiating. That I'm always the one, well, not always, but most of the time I'm usually the one that confesses the feelings first. Or as of recently, I developed a habit of asking the man out on a date first. And then I was telling her like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like this is the wrong way to do it. Like, I don't think I said I kept striking out, but people are telling me that's the wrong way to do it. They keep looking down on me for it. Then Lucretia was just like, well, no, that's a confidence builder thing. Like, you're actually confident enough to do that. And I was like, what? But then it's just like a part of my swag now, like part of my superpower. It's like, love it. I love it. Do I want to do it again? No. But I think her giving me that piece of confidence is exactly what I had needed. So that way it helps me step out in my comfort zone, like whenever I'm ready to, or as I'm going through my own dating journey, just like say what I mean what I say, but also it helps me become a better communicator of what I'm actually feeling.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I am so glad that you were able to share about your experiences and how you were able to gain the confidence. What I found in the sessions is that not only does it confirm kind of like what you were already doing in other ladies too, whether they're doing it right, but not necessarily wrong, but how you can improve it, or saying that, you know, you could keep doing that. Don't think that you can't not do certain things, right? Because of what society tells us and what's ingrained in our head. But if you out here waiting and you're desiring marriage, you can't be sitting. So that's my whole point of these sessions, is that if you need the help and you want to understand how to navigate your dating journey, you need to ask for it, and you need to figure out what strategies work. You can't just be going to church and back home and then trying to figure out if somebody's going to approach you. You have to figure out there's some ways that you can do what you can do to keep on this journey and start meeting guys. You know, you ain't got to marry them when you the first date, but at least start meeting them. So thank you, Tae'Lor, for sharing your experience. And guys, don't fret. We working on y'all. We getting DJ prepared to do some strategy sessions as well. So guys out there who are like, hold up, the ladies getting all the love. Where we need it too. So
y'all gonna get some honesty. I don't know about no love.
So I just wanted to touch on that as well, ladies. I can't speak for all men, but some men, a majority of us, we don't mind y'all approaching us. Like, sometimes we don't notice that that's your intention. So sometimes we just think, because we're not the best at getting signals. Let's be honest. We're not the best at getting signals. So if you approach us on that energy, now we're like, okay, so she was feeling me like that. Okay, let me go ahead and, you know, so a lot of times we would wish y'all would, you know, give us the green light as well and let us know that that's what you guys want. So
that's good. Thank you for following up with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. So we about to dive in, y'all. We about to dive in on this topic called dating as, I had to get back to the topic. Like, what we
dating as an introvert.
on dating as an introvert. So like we said before, how this came about is first we have had conversations on the podcast about our relationship in previous episodes about DJ being an introvert and like how we navigated that. But then also, you go ahead and talk about how you.
Oh, well, I was going to bring up that you mean my cousin over here.
Yeah.
Be having multiple conversations about, basically being an introvert, and we'll actually say we just know automatically we introverted, but just how dating is and how a little bit difficult it is trying to, basically step outside our box or whatever comfort zone just to do something abnormal. And although it's normal for other people, for us is way out. Like we have to basically build up and do something like that just to see how it is, and then be like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. We'll go ahead and try it out again. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I'll wait a month.
Wait a whole month.
Wait a whole month and be like, all right, I'm gonna try again. So having that conversation, I brought it to my wife here, and he was like, we should make a podcast about it. And I was like, well, I know the perfect person, and then now we know two perfect people to to have this conversation with.
Yeah, and so when he came and said, hey, I got Josh, I was like, you know what would be good if we had a lady to invite. So just like Tae'Lor mentioned, I went on Facebook and I put a post out and I was like, hey, do you have any women that are introverts that wouldn't mind being on a Dating as Introvert podcast, something like that. And when I tell you the amount of comments
makes no sense
that I got from that I was like, wow, it's a lot of y'all out there. Like, I mean, not that I didn't know that. It was just that as far as who wanted to speak out and speak up about it.
But there's two sides though. The women, they came out, although some of them I didn't think they was actually introverted, but they came out. Men, ain't nobody in them comments.
So I posted because I was like, well, how about we get 2 women and 2 men, because we had a lot of women, we could do like a whole little panel. So I was like, let me go and find, see if another man can join us, kind of thing. And so I put a post out. It was crickets. So, which I understand. I mean,
I said that's why
you used to not having crickets when it comes.
Yeah, it's like, but you're asking men who's introverted. They're not going to be on Facebook looking at comments. They video, all right, cool, and go back to what they was doing.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. And also, no offense to us guys, you don't want to admit that you're having trouble in the dating world either. So that might be
it too.
Well, we did say we don't ask for help, so yeah,
women are a lot more vocal when it comes to that. Like it is a crazy world out here with date. It's so many comments and things like that. And so I was appreciative because now that I know some of you are listening and probably were on the comments, I'm going to be asking them to come and talk about other topics as well, because I've seen a lot more women out there that are wanting to just come and talk. I was like, okay, well, let's just see how else we could fit you in. So know that we're coming with some more stuff from y'all. But yes, and so that's kind of how it began. And I was like, you know what? I know Tae'Lor already. We already had some conversations. Why not? Let's just go for it. And so that's why we brought y'all here today. And so we wanted to start. Ooh, my extrovert's coming out. Anyway, so we want to start with basically defining like what this is. And I was so I'm gonna go actually bottom up. We hear the word ambivert, and I guess people kind of throw that out there and they don't even know what the heck it is. So there's 3 different types of personality. So there's like the ambivert, there's the extrovert, and there's an introvert. And so I think this is best to clear it up now, because a lot of people who did comment, they're like, well, I used to be an extrovert, but now I'm an introvert.
No, you're an
Makes
ambivert.
sense. Maybe you just an ambivert.
Yeah.
And so this type of person is a person having characteristics of both extrovert and introvert. So they kind of they got both in there. And so that's who that is. When we talk about extrovert, this is a person that typically we're unreserved. And I say we're unreserved. We're a person who enjoys and seeks out social interaction. So yes, for me, it's really hard to be sitting next to someone with the cashier, whatever, and not say nothing. Like very rarely do I do that. And sometimes I do feel like I might be an ambivert, honestly. In some cases, I think the pandemic did it to where
that ain't what did it.
What did it?
You being married to me.
I think
this introvert life kind of nice.
And so this introvert, I ain't gotta talk to nobody. I ain't gotta
because
I
will say it took you a minute, because for a while you was like, I just need to get out. I need to do this. And then next you know, you're just like, yeah, let's stay.
Yeah. I stopped really doing a lot. And sometimes I still second guess doing things. I have friends that are extreme extrovert. I'm not on extreme level where they are out and about all the time. They talking to folks all the time at events, doing all the things. And I used to be that, but I think also as life progressed, family and things, it's like I could be less that.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, social interaction, that is what fills me up. That's my go-to. If I have that, I'm talking on the phone, I'm out and about, I'm doing all the things. That's what I need. And so I'm gonna flip it and be like, I want y'all to tell me y'all own definition of an introvert. So yeah. So what is an introvert? Tae'Lor, go ahead. What you
So I would define an introvert as someone that, gets their energy from, no, solitude is not the word that I want to say for it. Just like being with one's self. Like they don't have to go out to social events to feel at peace or feel fulfilled. They're much more comfortable with staying home, doing their own self-care activities. Probably not really the first to speak in crowds or anything like that. That's what I got.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. Josh, ditto, or you got your own version?
I'm gonna piggyback on what she said and add a little bit to it. And piggyback on what you said, whereas you might look at the cashier and be sitting next to him and want to have a conversation. I'm kind of hoping that he or she doesn't talk to me. Not necessarily because I don't like the person or nothing, but it's like, oh crap, now I gotta come up with a whole conversation. You know what I mean? I gotta come up with topics. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna just let that be. So I mean, as an introvert, you will speak. It's not that we don't like talking. It's again, we don't like small talk. So more times than not, when you meet someone new, it's mainly small talk. So we have to think about that. It's like we don't necessarily like small talk or being surrounded with a bunch of people that we're going to have small talk with.
Yeah, that's true. That when I remember when we first were dating and we would go to restaurants and they always would, of course, talk to him first because they're like, how many seats, table. And he would just be like, I was like, why you look mean? Or why you look like you, why can't you say the way they would try to interact with him? And so I would always have to fill in the gaps because I felt like it may have come off a little rude depending on how you looked. And it wasn't that. It was just that's his personality. And it was so funny because he went right.
Yeah, like I answered your question. You know what I mean? Like, what do I?
And I'm like, it was great. Our day was fine. Like I have to come in.
It's such and such. I just
looking straight. And so that was just funny to me. When you said that, it brought a memory of that when we were first dating. And I was like, okay, this is interesting.
I still do it.
It still does it. And I have to fill in the gaps all the time. So we were talking about levels.
Yeah, so there's levels to it.
Of introversion. And so there are different levels. There's some people that, may be extreme and maybe on it. So do you have some?
See, you agreed to it.
And I think people need to understand that too when it comes to that. I mean, I'm sure there are levels of extrovertness too, but we're talking about introversion.
Oh yeah, there's definitely levels of extroversion. You got them extroverts who just, I got to climb a mountain. Anyway,
climb a mountain.
So we got mild, moderate, strong, and extreme. And I know basically each person out of those. Mild is basically individuals in this category may prefer spending more time alone or with a small group of close friends. They may occasionally enjoy socializing, but often find it draining and need time to recharge. That's mild.
Mild.
Oh, you might agree with some other ones. Hold on. Moderate. People with moderate introversion tend to be selective about their social interactions. They enjoy meaningful conversations with a few close friends and may participate in social activities occasionally, but they still need regular alone time.
Okay.
Strong, basically typical prefer solitude, spending time with very small close friends or family. They find socializing to be draining, requires significant alone time to recharge their energy. And then you got a stream where basically they just inside.
Mm-hmm.
They just inside, find large gatherings and extended social engagements extremely exhausting and may prioritize alone time above all else.
I have friends in the strong and extreme, and so it was very, very hard for me to be friends with that person, to understand how to, like,
I keep inviting you, never coming out.
Never come out, or it's like, girl, you ain't called me in 3 months, and they fine. They're like, I am good. How you doing? Every 3 months, kind of deal. And I'm like, I would like to talk to you every day, kind of like, you're my friend. And they're like, no, I need my space. So I totally understand the different. And I think we have to understand those levels in other people so that we know how to interact and how to, to do that. But something I didn't ask on the questions is that what we don't tend to talk about is the anxiety levels. Like we say introvert and all that, but we don't talk about there's a certain anxiety behind this. It's not just y'all just want to close up and be in solitude all the time. And you could tell me and you could correct me and say, is there fear? Is there just anxiousness? Is there nervousness? Is y'all sweating bullets? Like, what are y'all doing when it comes to different stages and different things in social interactions? Some of y'all talk about the anxiety levels that y'all may be experiencing in that.
Are we saying like dating or just in general?
Y'all can talk in general. You can talk dating because we could flow into dating.
Wait, the fact that you just like one of y'all.
Well, I know. Y'all got 3 of y'all here. You can talk however way. Yeah.
I have an example of this last night because I was at a function and there's like 2 levels. The venue had 2 levels. One was upstairs, like less people, more air. Downstairs, it was packed. Your girl up here stayed on the upstairs. I had a friend that was downstairs, could have connected with that friend, but the problem is that there was a lot of people down there. And at one point I went downstairs and I went to find a corner because I did not want to be by anybody. I didn't want anybody talking to me. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I could not, but the problem was that like the corners were taken. I'm just like, shoot. So I went back upstairs. Yeah, tried to find the corner. Didn't have a corner. Eventually I came back down, found a spot on the wall to sit back against so that literally no one could talk to me. So for me, I know for sure it's like it's a social anxiety type of thing. I don't mean to self-isolate, but it is very draining for me to socialize. I'm also like a type of person that feels people's emotions very deeply, and I feel energies pretty deeply. So if I feel like the energy is not peaceful, if it's toxic, angry, sad, depressing, I'm just not gonna do it. So
Ooh, that's good. I didn't think about the energies of folks. I mean, I know it's there, and I do the same. I'm an empath, so a lot of people's emotions I take on, no matter what it is, I take it on, and so, but I have to fight through that, especially being, if you're socially interacting with someone, you got to fight through that. But that's something to think about of another level. Yeah. Josh, you got more to add, or DJ?
It's kind of like what you guys are saying. So I've been on dates where she wanted to go to like a bar, and anybody that knows me, I'm not a club guy. I'm not a big party guy. It's too many people. The music is not necessarily the best, at least for my taste, but I went to try to get out of my comfort zone. And I go in and immediately started regretting that decision. I go in and I see all these people and I'm like, oh boy. And like she's like talking to some of her friends. I guess she was meeting her friends up there and wanted to show me off, which is fine, showing me off, but like I don't know. I would rather it be a smaller gathering, like at her house or at my house, you know what I mean? To where we can actually chat and get to know each other. In a club, I'm not getting to know you. It's just hi.
Yeah.
Or I don't like small talk. So I need to know who you are as a person. Cause like she said, I need to feel your energy. I need to know, are you good energy, bad energy? Are you one of those people that likes to, you know, pop stuff off in the club? Like, I need to know these things in order to feel comfortable around you. So in the interaction, to your point, I do feel anxious. I do feel nervous because it's like, I don't know who you are. I need to feel you out, but I can't ask the questions that I need to feel you out because we're in a big gathering.
So in that situation, what then happened? Like, were you able to after, or did you even continue with dating her? Like, what was that?
I did continue dating her. Because like I said, I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I felt like the way that I was doing it before, it wasn't working. So I wanted to try something different because, I mean, you know, the definition of insanity. But she didn't understand why I was kind of just standing there, stone faced, she didn't quite get it. Like, I tried to explain it the best way I could or articulate it while it was happening, but I couldn't find the words. So that's partially on me, but I was sweating. Let's just say that. I did not like the situation at all, but I was trying to keep it cool, but that wasn't my scene.
Wow. I don't know if you had something to say.
Oh, no, I was going to add to it because, you know, introverted too. I know what both of their experiences, if you notice, it was the details. Because usually extrovert, they just talk about the whole experience and
it was great.
It was great and the people. But if you notice, they explain the details of the environment. Of people and what they was doing, the room, exits,
the levels, the corners that were
So
the exits. How can I
we
get out?
Actually,
where the doors
I can't speak for Miss Taylor, but subconsciously I do start looking for the exit as soon as I enter into a big place. So
like this one,
and I always
where the back door at?
And I stayed close to it too. Yep.
So for me, the whole experience is more like when I was playing band, it's kind of like stage fright. Although I'm not a solo, I'm in the crowd with everybody else playing, but I feel like everybody's looking at me. So that feeling is like, I got to fight that. And then say, if I'm in the same experience with Joshua, it's like, I got to fight that and then try to find a way to talk to you. And it's loud and there's people. And now I'm worried about if something's going to go off. Like, it's a lot going on. And the whole time my face. So that's how I feel like the whole introvert experience of being out is like, I think the biggest one is when we went to 18th and Vine. And my anxiety was
I can't remember what it was. I think it was Juneteenth.
It was Juneteenth.
It was a year ago, I think.
My anxiety is high. One, I got the kids with me, so I'm just like looking everywhere. I'm like, okay, if something pop off, I'm gonna run. Everybody just chilling. My head is just like, let's go, let's get up out of here. The further we went in, I'm like, can we just leave?
But no, I think what you say here, the details, and we don't realize that. That's why we need y'all in our lives, because y'all are very observant, and y'all, even though you're not talking, it's a reason why. And so you're able to know like exactly what's been happening. Like I remember I'll ask him questions about the event, you know, or something we went to, and he's like, I noticed this, or I saw this. His vibe, the energy, all the stuff, y'all able to fine tune and see those things where, like he said, we're probably not. We talking, we going about, I gotta go make such and such, I'll be right back. And then he there just looking at stuff, you know, seeing things, and he's like, you know, and he's able to tell me what he saw. So I think that's the great part about that, if you all happen to be in a, you know, extrovert introvert kind of relationship.
Like she said earlier, it's a superpower.
We touched on, let's keep on the track of dating. And I think I like where you're going, Josh, with this. And Taylor, you could feel free to speak, but what are some of the challenges with being an introvert and dating? Okay, let's start there because that's too many questions. What are some of the challenges when you're out there?
Miss Taylor, did you want to go?
Yeah. First question. I mean, my first answer is going to be leaving the house. Number one. Getting out there, leaving the house. I know earlier, Josh, you were saying that the definition of part of your definition of an introvert was not so much that we don't know what to say, is that we don't like small talk. Me, I feel like I'm on the opposite spectrum of it. I don't know what to say. And so
Really?
there have been
Okay.
times, yeah. So there have been times in my dating past, there's just like this one time, and it bothers me to this day, but like not for the reason that you would think. There's this dude that I was like, we had went on like one date or whatever, and like I remember his words being like, "You are too old to not be able to hold a conversation," and yeah, and oh, it hurt me. It cut me so bad. And I'm just like, shoot, like, now I'm never gonna be able to date because I can't hold a conversation and blah blah blah. Like, I was just in my feelings. Like, to this, I don't even remember the dude's name now, so obviously, like, it's not important anymore. But, it's just me. I'm just very like, I'm just very shy. So it's just like, how do I carry on a conversation with somebody? But like, luckily, since then, I've had partners that really carried on the conversation or really took the time to ask me the deeper questions or like the random questions just to get to know me, and that fostered enough comfortability in me to be with them in order to carry on a conversation. So
can I ask you a question? When you were, I don't know if you'll remember or not, when you were talking to him, did he ask you questions that were deeper, or was it just more of a small talk situation?
it was more so of a small talk. I'm glad that you said that. It was more of a small talk situation. Like, what do you do? Like,
You see what I'm saying? We don't like small talk. So you're sitting here telling me, what's your favorite color, which is fine, but it's like, okay, Lou, come with the deeper stuff. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, this is very true. This is very, very true. Yeah. So it's
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I can't speak for everybody, but in the people that I know that are introverts, that's typically the number one thing. That's the only reason why, I kind of question you about it, is we don't like small talk. And for whatever reason, people get annoyed at the fact that we don't like small talk.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I'm over here thinking like, okay, I don't like small talk. Like, what the heck? Like, what do you mean I don't like it? But in that sense, what can you say when it's small talk? You can only give like yes or no answers. You're not able to give like these long drawn out answers like I just gave. So
it's in the details for us. Like, it's more so along the lines of, okay, if I give you the answer, I need to give you the why. I need to give you the backstory behind it. But obviously, you don't want to hear that because we're on the first date. People are like, you get too personal. Okay, so to your point, okay, well then I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. If you were to ask me what my favorite color was, I would tell you. But then, if you ask me what like my favorite shade was, and then I can go on and on and on and on and on.
You see,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. The way he said that, because it'd be plenty of times where I'm trying to explain something. She'd be like, "Can you just get to the point?" I am. Let me get there first. It's like I'll tell you yes, but then you're like, okay, then why? Man, I'm gonna tell you the why. I got to get to the part.
Yeah. And
it's really. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I came in. Go ahead. Finish, Josh.
Oh, it's really in the details for us. I don't think that's quite understood so much. Not necessarily like we would want to just keep talking, but we go to the details for clarity. So if you ask me what my favorite color is, I'll say green, and then you're like, oh, really? That's interesting. In my head, automatically, I'm like, I want to tell you why. I want to, I want to tell you why. I need to tell you why, because otherwise, this is going to keep going and going and going, and I'm just going to feel. That's when I start to feel anxious, because I'm like, this is small talk. I need to tell you who I am as a person versus just some little, answer. So I don't know if that made any sense.
No, that made sense. So it sounds like everybody needs great communication skills. Like, we have to learn how. I wasn't great. He wasn't great. Like, we had to learn it. But I think from what you're saying is we need to start asking those open-ended questions. Like, instead of just asking those questions that do lead to a yes or a no, we need to say, like, tell me about, you know, an experience you had with, instead of saying, did you have this experience? Well, yes. And then we're thinking that it's just, we think that you should know to keep doing the details and saying the why, but yet you're saying that we should be leading you into that easily to where it's, you can be able to do that. And because honestly, we're both struggling with communication. Like we try to figure out.
Because it's, at that point, it's a fluid conversation. If you ask me the details, it's not, you know, I just answer the question. You're asking me a question, then I come with the details, and then I get to ask you, and I'm expecting, and then I come with the why of why you like this. You know, that's the way to keep the conversation going, versus a yes or no question doesn't necessarily open it up for full conversation. It's just yes or no.
Yeah. I know when we was dating, my biggest thing was for her to be able to at least listen and hear what I'm saying. Which once she opened that door, it was nonstop. We was there talking the whole time, or mostly me talking, which is rare. And she was just like, I don't have them stories. But I was just going back to back because I was like, I'm able to explain and get to the story, and then like, oh, I got more, because she was actually listening to me. And I'm like, cool. And it's like a vote open up now, boom, boom, hitting you all this stuff. She's like, what are all these stories coming from?
Were coming out of the woodworks. I had nothing. I have nothing, nothing. But what I was thinking of when you all were talking about that too, and what you were saying is that we often talk about the woman feeling safe and secure, right? We always talk about why we got to feel safe in order for us to really feel like, you know, we're in this relationship, and in order to know that I can trust you, I need to feel safe, you know, as women. But we forget that men, you all need to feel safe as well. And in order for us to have the feelings reciprocated when it comes to communication, so you're feeling like maybe he's not talking as much, maybe he's not telling me everything. Well, he doesn't feel comfortable with sharing that. Something you're doing is holding him back from not wanting to communicate the way you feel like he should. So maybe just maybe you need to switch up how you your conversation skills and how you say things. So that's why I had to step back a lot of times, knowing that he is the type of person he is. I have to quit forcing it. Find another way. Figure out another way for you to ask the question. You know, you don't have, and my expectations couldn't be so like grand. Because I remember he would come home and simple question, how was your day? If he asked me how my day was, I'm telling him from point A to Z. Okay, we going down the list of everything. So I walked in and got coffee, came back and I saw Cheryl. Cheryl told me, hey, and then guess what, you know, all the things. I asked him how his day was.
It's good.
And I'm like, bruh, what happened during your day? You know?
How'd you feel about that? I felt cool.
And then, you know, y'all, you men and feelings, I gotta talk about how I feel, you know, kind of deal. But what I had to do also, this is where we go into speaking about what you want, you know, being able to speak up about what you want in relationships and things like that. I want to hear more. So I had to tell him, hey, I just want to hear a little bit more about your day. It ain't gotta be grand, but can you do more than just good? Like, I would like to know. And so now he knows that
you should be hearing the random stuff.
I've been hearing all the random stuff. Like,
there was a praying mantis on the wall. I was just sitting there, and like, boom, and then I smacked it.
And I talked to such and such, and da 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 da.
Like, what's happening with your
but
day?
now I'm able to. It's more than just good, because I expressed what I needed in order to feel like things were reciprocated, right? So it's a dance.
So for you extroverts out there, you need to listen.
I'm done.
Ain't all about your conversation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know I stepped out on the common challenges. Were there any other challenges that y'all brought up as dating as an introvert that we didn't talk about yet?
I don't know. I think also the need that once your battery is drained, you need your partner or person you're dating to understand you're going away to go for solitude, not because you're trying to be disrespectful or rude or because you don't like them or, you know, it's just, I need to get away to recharge my battery. I'm not good for you if I like, I don't know, like I said, I can't speak for everybody else, but when my battery shuts down, I could be in mid conversation and it'll just boom. And I'm like, and because I need to get away to recharge, no matter if I try to force the conversation after my battery is low, it's going to be a very different conversation. I'm going to come off as irritated or frustrated or, you know, whatever. I need to go recharge and then come back. And then we can have a, you know, I need to go do my own thing, whether that's play video games, basketball, whatever I need to do, whatever my hobby is or my passion is, I need to go do that. And then I'll be able to come back and have a conversation because I have to recharge.
So tell me about a time, I feel like it's an interview question. Tell me about a time when you did that and the woman didn't take it well. Like where you had to recharge and they just went off. Like what happened?
So I try to disguise it. I try not to be rude, but so we're at a movie and we talked before the movie because I went to go try to pick her up or whatnot. And we're talking in the car. So the whole way to the movies we're talking and I'm like, oh, this is great, yada, yada, yada. So we go get the tickets and she's trying to come like conversate with me about the movie. Like, oh, I'm so excited, you know, showing genuine excitement. But at that point, my battery said, yeah, we're done. So I'm like, ah, crap. You know, in my head, I'm like, crap, I don't have anything to say right now. So I just told her I had to use the bathroom, but like I really went in the bathroom and like got on my phone and played like a game because I'm like, I need to do something to recharge my battery, but I don't want to be rude.
Wait,
so
wait, back up. What we're trying on the wait, back up before you continue. So you saying that like this was like your day was filled completely with a lot of things, and then you met up with her, or was it like you need to recharge because she was just too much? Like
so a little bit of both, and not she's too much in a bad way. So because I'm a truck driver, we talk to a lot of people throughout the day. Like I have to deliver, I have to talk to this person, I have to converse with this person. Oh, the load might be messed up. You know, I have to converse with 4 or 5 different people on one drop, you know, and I have 13 stops a day. So I'm talking to a bunch of people. So that all happened. And then after work is our date. So she's an extrovert and she's, you know, really kind of, as they like to say, I guess, life of the party. So she's really talkative and, you know, upbeat, which is fine. But after you've dealt with this and then you come here, it's like, okay. And my battery just said, yeah, no. We're going to go play games in the bathroom stall.
That is funny, but you needed that little bit of peace. You needed that little bit of peace. Okay.
Yes.
And okay, Tae'Lor, do you have a story about anything like where kind of similar in dating and experience where you had to just be like, I need some time before you talk to me? Or
no, I actually don't.
Okay.
And I say that's like, I mean, it's probably coming, honestly. It's like
so you listening like I need to take some notes of like what to do.
I mean, it is probably coming, but I haven't really experienced that. I can't even explain why. It just hasn't. It has not been my journey, but I'm glad they said it because now I know what to do.
Exactly. So Josh, like, because I want to help people out with this, and I know DJ can probably help.
I'm gonna say I got a story too.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I was gonna move on to like the boundary setting, but go ahead.
All right, it had something to do with the time I was dating back a long time ago.
Back in my day.
It was kind of similar situation. I can't even talk. Basically, I had a long day at work or something. I came home and it wasn't even a planned date. Like, you know, when you go home and you're already like in that comfort, like you're already doing what you want to do. You're in your comfort clothes. You already ate your dinner. You're good. You ain't going nowhere. Then she's like, well, hey, why don't we go out real quick and do this? I'm like, I don't want to, but at the same time, I ain't seen you in so long. But like I'm still in my comfort mode. So I brought my comfort mode to the meetup. If that makes sense. Like I didn't change clothes. Like I'm straight. Like I came in my straight sweats and a sweater to a date. And it was, I think it was a Valentine's. That was a Valentine's. That's what makes it worse because I was like, I'm cool. I'm gonna be at home.
Oh my gosh.
So
that was already, go ahead.
She had gave me like a flower, and then what threw me off was like, hey, my parents are in this restaurant here. Let's go meet with them. I'm like, nah.
You wasn't supposed to.
I'm in a bad mood because now it's like I'm already out here in my comfort clothes.
Yeah.
You got me out my comfort area, and now you want me to meet your parents?
Yeah.
This was only like supposed to be second date. I'm like,
this is a lot
on Valentine's Day. I'm already in a bad mood, so I was just like, I'm just gonna go home.
I have questions about that, but I ain't gonna go into that.
Yeah, you can ask me later. Anyway, so yeah, I was a terrible person at that moment because of that.
Yeah,
and I went home.
I think that's triggers for y'all too. Like if y'all need y'all moment of solitude, like, and we're taking you out of that, and you didn't get it, then you're gonna have a bad attitude.
I'm already grumpy.
You're gonna be grumpy, and so that's not gonna help anybody in a situation. It's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work.
You're just gonna get left on Valentine's Day. That's what's gonna
happen. So question is, have you ever communicated those boundaries to where you need that time? And maybe where it was hard to, and they didn't, like, I just feel like for us, it would be great to know, but maybe they did know, or maybe they didn't know. So Josh, did you communicate that to that person, to any of the women?
I try to lay my cards out on the table of who I am. So I did communicate it. I think the problem was people hear the words, but they don't necessarily get what you know what I mean? So it's hard to articulate.
I was gonna say that.
Sometimes exactly what you mean by that. So I could say I'm an introvert, and they're like, oh, okay. Right. They don't really, you know what I mean, grasp everything. So then when I'm like, well, sometimes I need my solitude to go off sometime, and that, oh, okay. Until it actually happens, then they're like, well, why did you leave? I told you, I'm an introvert. Like, I don't know how to put that any other way, but I think people don't necessarily grasp it until it happens. And it might take you a later time to be able to articulate what just happened. So it's a difficult slope sometimes.
And so how would you say you should articulate boundaries, or,
what I've learned? So I'm usually with the kids 6 to 5. She'll come home. The best way for me to like explain to her is basically, like we said before, explain in detail what happened throughout the day, and then say, hey, I need at least some time to myself without them, and then I could come back and be dad again. But just let me give me some time. I'll go downstairs, play the game or something like that, especially when they was like younger. She was like, and she understood to the point to where she was like, hey, do you need time? And I'm like, actually, no, I don't think I need time today. I'm good. I'm still able to do things, But if it's like we just came from church and everything on Sunday and did all this other stuff, and then Monday I got to wake up super early and I got to do all this for the kids and teach them and do that. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, my battery been gone. It's kind of venture off of being a parent as an introvert too. We're going to have to do another episode. Having kids, they touch you a lot. Me, I don't like getting touched a whole lot unless she's touching me. But anyway, I don't like getting touched a whole lot. So kids, they touch you every second. So by the time 5 o'clock hits, you're like, hey, tag team, let's go.
Yeah.
So And all to say, like for dating, it's kind of like you have to, in a way, find a way with that person, especially I guess after the first date, within the first date, wherever the conversation is, to let them know, like, hey, during them times I have solitude, you know, I'm not expecting, you can still call me and talk to me and whatnot, but don't expect the going out guy that you saw earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because like my mindset's already on, I'm by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you call me because you want to hear my voice. And I'm just like, I got nothing to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sit on the phone quiet. Like, at least explain beforehand what's going to happen. What I'm saying. Not to be mean about it.
No, it's just saying, it's basically being comfortable who you are. Especially if you like that person.
Yeah.
And if you see another date with them, or if you're, okay, say for instance, you're dating for about a month or so, you know, something like that. Like, it'll be great to just, you probably have to keep telling them. Like, I think we're like, oh, I told them once and they're supposed to know. But until you do it and they don't feel it, they're like, but remember when I told you that I need this time for myself and all the things. Like, those are expectations that you have, and you have boundaries. Mm-hmm. You have self-care, you know, just as much as we love to be social and be out and be out and about and do all the things, like, and that's my expectation. So I want you to come with me. I want to go out. And then, so there's compromise. There's that where, okay, I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna go out and we're gonna have, you know, do that. But you know that before we go out, I need some time to be on my video game, or I need some time to kind of, you know, be by myself, or whatever it is. And that's what we did when we were dating. Like, I knew that because straight off work, you know, I got off work and he's like, I need some time, you know.
Actually, no, before that, you'd be like, how come you ain't called me or nothing? Like,
oh yeah, I'll be like, okay, you didn't call me.
He must be talking to other girls.
No.
Call me. I'm doing the same thing you talked to me about the other time.
But I had to practice patience with that because I knew, and I had to trust and believe that he was doing what he said, you know, and I couldn't be that crazy because, yes, in my mind, I went crazy. I'm like, he ain't call me or text me, ain't nothing. This brother over here just on his game, or just maybe sleep. I don't know, like something like it may be just whatever. And I took it too far.
I'm a simple man.
My ex-girlfriend was like that. Not to like bash or anything, but she, a lot of times, and this is just friends or family in general, if my social battery is gone down and you call me, I literally will just look at the phone. And that's like, I don't have it in me. I can't give you something I don't have. Mm-hmm. So I will look at the phone, and it's not to be disrespectful to her or anything like that, but to her credit, she could not get that aspect of me. And I'm trying desperately to explain it to her. And I couldn't get her to understand that. It's like, I'm not, because, okay, we'll talk in the morning. Like, I'll talk from the time I wake or get to my job, and she went in at 9. Mm-hmm. So we'll be talking from like 6 till 9. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then now I have to do my job. And then she'll call like during her lunch break and then after work. And I'm just like,
we get no breaks.
I don't got it. I don't have it. Like, I'm sorry.
Phone ring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, and it's nonstop phone ringing. And because I'm a business owner, my phone.
Yeah. It's always constant.
And I'm like, I just don't have it, babe. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to say that any other, like a nicer way. Mm-hmm. And she just, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's where honestly, she should have compromised and knew who you are. Like, if she wanted you to be healthy and wanted all of you at the end of the day, then she should have known kind of to take those steps back a little bit.
There should have been a structured phone call schedule.
But yeah, I knew that I don't want to deplete him. I want all of him with me, you know, at the end of the day. So I'm gonna respect all how much time you need. Okay, I'll give you that because I don't want half of you. I want us to have a fun date. I want us to go out. We meeting people, you're meeting my friends, we out and about. I don't want half. I want the whole, right? And so it has to be communicated and it has to be understood from both sides of the party, you know, of parties. But I want to talk about like, as far as, you know, discerning whether somebody is capable of being that person, you know, so of being that match for you. So Tae'Lor, when you're saying like who you're looking for and like somebody who understands who you are, like who are you looking for to understand you as the person you are as an introvert? What type of guy is the one you're like, okay, if he is this and I'm an introvert, what do you want him to be? What do you want him to do? You know, kind of thing.
Uh-huh. He'll be empathetic and a good listener.
Mm-hmm.
What I found is that if I'm like explaining myself, we also have to like create an environment where I'm like comfortable being vulnerable to explain myself, not in like a deep level, but like deep enough to understand that I'm pretty introverted. And then that also like a level of understanding. So if I'm telling you XYZ about my life, like recently, I was telling somebody like, oh, I didn't even know how this person found this out, but do this thing, I like to call it burritoing. I think I told him, I was like, oh, like I just burrito, like I just like wrap up and I just lay down and I just decompress. And so he understood that to mean, I don't know how he did it, but he understood that to mean like when I'm like in my zone, like it's a decompressing type of thing, to the point where I think I went home early because we were doing a training and we got let go early. And so he was just like, okay, how long is it till you're like in a burrito? And I'm just like, I'm 5 minutes from my house. So it's like you're burrito in about 7 minutes.
I like
so
that.
Like,
Burrito.
Yes, everybody should just try it. Like, I promise you it'll pay a lot better if you just wrap up burrito for a couple hours and then just be on your day. But for that, it was just the level of understanding and empathy, and then also like the level of care and intentionality of wanting to actually get to know me beyond the surface level stuff, to understand and with the patience to understand like why I am the way that I am.
The patience and to understand who you are. Yeah, that's key. That is definitely key. And I think that doesn't happen. And it depends on their intentions too, like on how far they want to take this. Because my thing is, if they're interested and they want to be with you, there's somebody who's, you know, who wants to take this on, they should be taking the care to know that this is what you need, you know, and not dismiss it, because that's going to turn you off. That's a huge turn off. Because if I didn't do half of that, you'd be like, okay, this ain't going to work.
You'd be like, I don't care about what you got.
And y'all introverts, y'all cut people off. Y'all know how to cut folks off to the quickness. Okay. Y'all will not.
We're used to the solitude, the alone time. So it doesn't bother us when we have to be alone.
You're about to mess up my safety.
About to mess up my safety. Exactly. And we're the opposite. Like, if we, you know, we'll go for it. We'll be like, okay, you ain't talked in a while. You ain't did this in a while. So we are going to be on the phone, calling, all the things like, where you at? All the stuff. Like, that's what we want to, but that's what also where the craziness has to come down on extrovert. I'll say the women's side. I don't know about the extroverted men's side. We need an extrovert man to come and talk. But on my side, like, I had to learn how to not be all of that. You know, I don't have to be all of that. You know, I could be the life of the party and he could just be okay with where he's at. I ain't got to drag you.
Nope.
And then sometimes I'm okay with going by myself too, to things.
Me too.
If I know you okay with me going by myself because you at the house.
But where you going? Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's go ahead, Josh. You gonna say something?
Oh, also to piggyback on your point, if you do drag us to like an event, for lack of better words, drag us,
drag us.
You have to be okay with us sitting in the corner by ourselves. Like, you know how sometimes they'll be like, well, why aren't you talking to nobody? Why aren't you get engaged? Hey, come over here. Like, no, don't come over here. Leave me alone. Like, I want to be by myself. Like, this is me recharging. I'll come and talk when I'm recharged, but to draw more attention to me, it's not a good idea. Don't do that. Like, let me be over here. I realize this is your event with your friends or family or whatever. I'll, migrate over there when I'm ready to do that.
Yeah. And I think that's what we have to understand too.
I think it's been a couple times where your parents was like, where DJ at? I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm right. You just not talking or live.
Extra quiet, especially when they first met me. They was like, yo, extra quiet and stuff. Talk.
Yeah.
Hi.
And that's one of the common things I get from some of the friends that have dated introverts, where they're like, I don't know how to navigate this. Like, I just feel lost. And I'm like, don't be. Just respect the boundaries and be okay with giving them time. Giving them time. Like, you're fine. Just don't push too much, because that's going to run folks away. Like, understand that you're just two different people trying to navigate life, but also speak your expectations. Don't just settle and just say, you don't say anything at all about your needs. It's important that you both talk and compromise, and so I went out with you one day. How about, can we stay in one day? I want to go out to a restaurant where you and I can talk. Okay, the next time I want to go out to a party or to this. Compromise, talk about it though. And I think that's what happens is you don't ever communicate. So you just automatically assume, oh, you don't want to go. You just, that's how I used to be. You don't want to go, kind of deal. I'm like, he probably does, but now he really don't want to go. Like,
because now it's kind of like you forcing me to go. You're now it's like you're guilt tripping me to go.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, if that's the case, no, I really don't go now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So, Tae'Lor, you had anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. Well, final question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to add. Well, I think I developed a superpower, which I've been having as a kid. The biggest thing I end up doing, especially if we out in some public place, I'm in my head a lot, like the whole time.
Oh yeah.
So, and she knows this, so she'll just let me be, and that's usually where I can recharge, because I'm in my thoughts, I'm processing things, thinking about whatever happened earlier, whatever it is, or it be something random. A lot of times, actually, when we first started dating, she thought I was thinking of something profound.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't nothing very
not even close. She'd be like, what are you thinking of? I'm thinking about race cars and how fast this car can go. She'd be like, okay, I thought you thought somebody profound over there.
I thought you had a whole deep quote.
Nope.
I thought you had like a whole, something, some wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But I think what usually happens is, if we're not able to be like isolated in our minds when we're out in public, and you're constantly asking us questions, bringing us out of it, like we have nowhere to charge, basically.
Yep.
So now we got to physically take ourselves out of the situation, like you said, the corner in the room, and try to do that there. Yes. Not trying to say, hey, I need to be away from you. More is like, I need to figure out somewhere that's I can be in my head without people interrupting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, but hey.
And how to do that without coming off as rude or insensitive or anything like that. So it's difficult to navigate. But I guess my biggest thing is, if you know that someone's an introvert, you have to take that in and put that in the forefront of your mind. Take that into consideration. If you know that you see them walking off, not like walking out and getting in the car, but like going into the corner and kind of doing their own thing, just know like, okay, they're recharging.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, simple. Like, hey, do you need some water? Okay, I'm good. That's it. And 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something, and they might come back, but
yeah. And this is why I say, when you start dating, or before you start dating, rather, start practicing those communication skills of how to do that. Like, start telling people how you feel as an introvert. Like, you might have some friends who don't understand. I'm just now learning my friends right now, of the introverted ones and how they respond, but they're now educating me on what they need and how they need the time for themselves. Like, but it's because we didn't ever talk about it. We never communicated. There always been my friend group. So we always did things the same, but life and seasons change. And so I think practice with family members, practice with people around you, practice with coworkers, like setting your boundaries and turning things off and setting things to the side, or saying like, you know what, I just don't have enough right now. Can we talk about this later? Like, things like that. Start doing that now. And then when you get into that relationship, like how to be upfront about what those things look like, because I didn't practice some skills, and I had to practice with him, And so it was like, oh, I'm getting better at this, kind of deal, kind of deal. But start doing those things early, and don't fear educating somebody. Like, educate folks on who you are, on how you like to be treated and what that looks like. Set those expectations. And because if you're interested in that person, you want to be able to know how, you want them to know how to treat you, and you want to know how to treat them. Like, it goes both ways. But then, so the last question, or last thing, because I know we didn't spend time, is I want to know about y'all and self-care. I think some of us need to know what self-care means for y'all, So how do you practice self-care and build your own confidence? Even it could be when dating, or it could just be period. How should you be doing that? Or maybe what do you wish you should have been doing, kind of deal. I know, Tae'Lor, as far as, getting out there and dating and stuff like that, like, maybe not have too many experiences, but like, what is your self-care mode? You talked about one, but maybe talk about a little bit more on there.
Earlier I had mentioned my water me boot camp. There's like a trick that I had learned from one of my other friends. We were going through the same season in our singleness journey. And so what she had said was, you just need to like tell yourself what you like about yourself, like on a daily basis. And since you don't have anybody right now, you just like tell yourself the things that you would want a man to tell you. And so I've been hearing like that I needed to like pour into myself for years and years and years, or like water you, or like love on you for years and years and years. But I never really wanted to do it. I never really understood what that meant until she said it. And so I think that night I had wrote down a list of my own qualities that I had liked about myself, somewhat affirmations of qualities that I liked about myself. And like, first the list was short, but then it kept growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
And then every morning I would wake up and tell myself those things. And I'm not going to say that like I started believing them, but I did start feeling a lot better about myself. Another thing that she had told me was that if you have a man that like you want to go out with him or whatever the case might be, and he just like he just cancels the date or just really just avoids you, say that, that's on him. Like, it's not a you thing. Because at first I would take it personally. But as soon as I was just like, oh, I mean, they don't want to do this, that, and the third. I mean, that's on them. Not saying that they're bad people or anything like that. It's just my way of saying it's not my fault that they don't want to spend the time or put in the effort. Like, it's just not my fault. And so I did those things over time for about a month. And then I stopped doing those things because I felt like I didn't need it anymore. Trying to figure out what I feel like I just didn't. I think I had grown enough to where I was like, okay, like I'm getting more secure in who I am, to where I don't need to remind myself. Sometimes I still do it to remind myself if I feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm feeling less secure. I just like build myself up and tell myself those things, and I'm good.
Yeah. I like that. Water me boot camp. I love that. I love that. We should continuously be doing something to help us to keep going, because we need it. We need that.
Yeah.
So we need to start speaking to ourselves. So that's good. Josh, what's some self-care that you do?
Really, I'm a little weird. I like to
No.
I like to kind of write my thoughts down. I used to do a little bit of music, but I don't do it anymore, but I still write. So as a therapeutic way to get off my feelings or whatever, I do that still. Probably won't ever hear the music, but it's still therapeutic to me to know that I'm getting my words out. Also, I think the weirdest thing about me would be sometimes I just sit on YouTube and watch like business things or personal finance. I'm big on personal finance. So I'll sit back there and just, for hours watching YouTube and business credit and personal credit and things of that nature. I don't know, I find it fascinating, mainly because that's not something we're taught in our school. So I kind of just really put my focus on those types of things as a way to, because that's a new world. So I escape my reality and go to the financial reality, and that helps me kind of escape my reality for a minute to decompress, as Miss Taylor like to say, or like I said, play video games where it's like literally mind numbing. Like I don't have to think; I just press buttons and get a reaction. So it's kind of like that. But self-care, I've started stretching. I play basketball to try to. I need to get back into basketball. During the trucking thing is kind of throwing everything out of whack, but I need to get back into basketball for the exercise benefit of it, not necessarily like I'm going to make the NBA or anything, but just the exercise benefit of it, the cardio, the camaraderie amongst men and things of that nature. I feel like that is my self-care. But I also wanted to ask Miss Taylor, when you said that you felt like that's on them, when they wouldn't show up, did you feel like you did something wrong, or how did you muster up enough strength to get past that?
Yes, when they wouldn't show up, I feel like I had did something wrong. I would I'm a big overthinker, so I would overanalyze everything that I had done. Just like, oh, like this is why this happened, or I should have or more of like a like past thinker, like, oh, if I had done this, then X, Y would be this way. And so, but it had been like that for years. Like honestly, I had just stopped thinking that 2 months ago. So
okay.
This I know it's like a Water Me Boot Camp was a really good example. Listen, I made that list in July. So
gotcha. Okay.
No.
Because I've had that happen to where, you get stood up on a date. Actually, funny story, if we ever do another podcast, my painting downstairs, I thought it was a good idea to take a girl to a painting class. And long story short, she never showed up. And so I'm in there painting by myself, and like I bought 2 tickets, and the lady's like, yeah, where's your partner? I was like, I don't know. And there's a group of women in there. I don't know what they had some event, and they were like, oh, you got stood up. And I'm like, this is not embarrassing at all. Thanks. Like, yeah.
Why can't you just let me be?
I actually kept the painting as a reminder to myself, like kind of like what you said, Miss Taylor, like that's on them. You know what I mean? Like that's a reminder of myself, like, hey, you missed out on some good painting time and some wine. So
that's on you.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to mention that or ask, because the same techniques you use when you're not dating, like when you don't have anybody, or you're just doing you're on pause or whatnot, is like the same things you should be expressing of what you need when you're in your relationship or when you start dating. So using those same words to say, hey, this is what I do on my self-care. So if I'm not talking to you, or if you feel like we've had a break, or maybe you don't know what I'm doing, I'm probably playing basketball. I'm out with my boys doing this, or I'm probably wrapped up in a burrito watching Netflix, kind of deal. I'm not ignoring you. I just need that time, kind of deal. And that's how you can better articulate, those things. Like you said, instead of just saying I'm an introvert, because we don't be knowing what that means nowadays, because everybody identifies as something now. Like everybody.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
People identify as a dog on TikTok.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyway, you identify as too many people, with too many words that fly around that we talk about so many times, and we don't really give what that means. So for you to have expressed that, now like some things that you can, I watch financial videos all day, would you like me to send one over to you? Would you like to talk about it? It's just things like that later on when we meet, not now, because again, you need that time by yourself, but later on, hey, this is a video that I've been watching. You seen this before? So it's something. But anyway, yes, this was a great conversation. I hope
my self-care used to be the lake.
Oh my God. I keep forgetting to include you. I'm forgetting you here. I'm trying to, time. But go ahead. The lake.
Yeah, when we was dating, mine used to be the lake, which was funny because when you brought that up about bringing somebody else into that, I brought you there, and you was just like, "Oh, this is nice."
It was nice. I really enjoyed it.
That was like my solitude.
But I'm a water girl too, so.
That's funny y'all say that because I like inexplicably, like I don't know why, but I like the water.
Yeah.
Too. Like I like lakes, I like oceans. I don't know why. And like I don't like talking at it. I just like looking and being by it. Like I don't know why. So maybe that's an introvert thing.
I mean,
it's
it
possible.
might be. I think everybody, but I think honestly it's refreshing hearing men talk about y'all self-care stuff. Women, we always self-caring. That's what we do. You know, but it's just refreshing to hear like what you did as far as the painting and what you did, you know, as far as to get over that moment and what you keep. And then for you in your singleness, how you were just going by the lake and getting some mind time. Like, men, if you're hearing this, like, this is good stuff. Like, y'all should find your way of how you self-care, and then be able to invite that person in your space if you feel like it.
My new one's weird though.
Your what now?
My new self-care is weird.
What's your new self-care?
I like to sit in the vehicle at work and listen to Japanese lo-fi.
Okay, we move on. Okay, after we come to a close.
Okay. You know, hey,
thank y'all from tuning up. We really appreciate y'all for coming in and talking to us about what it means to date as an introvert. Y'all, if y'all felt any of this every which way, please drop in the comments on YouTube. Answer our poll on Spotify that we will have that says anything about dating as an introvert or dating an introvert. And let us know what you thought about the episode. We really appreciate Tae'Lor and Josh for coming through to A Marriage and Purpose Collide,
the podcast.
And listen, y'all, be back next week. We love y'all.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Bye. Well, you stay on, but bye.
Yeah.